Hello everyone, my name is Mark and I'm your small business coach. I've owned a printing company for over 30 years and being self-employed has truly been a dream come true for me. And I've had a lot of help along the way and I'd like to help the future entrepreneurs of this country to succeed. So let's do an overview of today's class. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a quiz just to test your business knowledge. And in the quiz, there's 11 things that I think every business owner should know. The second thing that we're going to do is I'm going to give you a link to a 10-day free training to help you market your business in the 21st century. And the last thing, and no class would be complete without the instructor assigning homework. So yes, you will get homework today. So let's get started. Here's a fact for you to consider. Some of your customers will go out of business. Most business owners are very optimistic, but after being in business over 30 years, I've seen that over the years, some of my customers do go out of business, and you sure don't want them to take you with them. So here's a question. How do you know that they're about to go out of business? If you want to think about it and pause the video and see if you can come up with the answer, you're welcome to do so. Now, in the quiz, we're going to go over it. It'd be very apparent for you to know that. So let's get started. I need you to do two things. First, click the subscribe button so you never miss a class. And number two, below this video, there's a link to the quiz. So I'd like for you to click on that link, take the quiz, and you can pause the video and you can fill out your answers and then unpause the video and then come back and we'll go over your answers. So go ahead and pause the video right now. Okay, how did you do? Let's go over your answers. The first question is, over the long haul, who will be the best salesperson for your company? And I know you're hoping it's going to be the sales reps, but in reality, it's you, the business owner. You're going to be the one guiding the sales and marketing for your company. Look at when Apple would roll out a new iPhone. Who did the presentation? Steve Jobs. He got up there and told everybody about the brand new iPhone that was coming out, and he always ended it with, there's one more thing, and it would always be something very, very exciting. So don't ever think that you're going to get out of being a part of the sales of your company. Okay, the second question, when should you fire a customer? And I'm sure you hope the answer is B or C, if they yell at you or if they're a total jerk. But the only reason why I really ever would fire a customer is because they're not paying me on time. And I had a situation where I had a customer not pay me for 6 months. And I tell you, I was so relieved when they finally paid me. Well, fast forward several months, they called me back to reorder what I'd printed for them. And I didn't want to wait 6 months to get paid again. So I said, the only way that I will print the job for you is if you pay up front. And the buyer said, we will absolutely not do that. And so I had a decision to make. And I said to myself, if it took them 6 months to pay, they may never pay at all next time. So I had to turn down the order, which is so very difficult when you're first starting your business. But I drove by their office several months later, and there was a for lease sign. And when I got home, I called the phone number, and they were out of business. And I was like, phew, I'm glad I didn't take that order. Okay, so when I ask, how do you know when a customer is about to go out of business? That's the answer, when they aren't paying you on time. So always consider that. You know, you get your little spidey senses going and you'll say, oh my gosh, they're not paying me. There must be a problem. There is a problem. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Where is the best place to prospect? Close to home, downtown, within a 100-mile radius? Well, when I first started my business, I was doing some cold calling, and believe it or not, back then, nobody had voicemail, and nobody had caller ID. So when you called people, they actually answered the phone. It was a beautiful thing. So I called this gentleman, and I gave him my spiel, and then I said that I was in the printing business, and he said, well, actually, I'm your competition. And I couldn't wait to hang up the phone because I felt embarrassed for calling my competition to try and get business from him. But he said, hold on a second, let me see if I can help you. It's like, wow. And he said, what's your marketing plan? Where are you going to make your sales calls? And I said, well, I'm planning on picking the tallest building in downtown, and I'm going to go to the top floor, and I'm going to knock on every door from the top to the bottom of that building. And he said, well, how long would it take you to get there? And I said, oh, probably 20 minutes if there's no traffic. And he said, and you'll have to pay for parking. And don't forget that all those big buildings have security, so you'll be escorted out of that building before you get down one floor. And I said, well, I would consider it a badge of honor to be escorted out of that building. And he said, well, it might be a badge of honor to you, but it's truly a waste of time. Don't you have businesses that are right near you? Why won't you call on them first? And I thought, man, he is so right. So what I did when I started my marketing is I started with my own zip code, and then I widened the search and went further and further out until I collected enough customers. And now when a customer calls, a lot of times they're only 5-10 minutes away because of that plan. Okay, what's the best way to gauge the health of the economy? In the last recession, my business was hurt really hard. And I did see my bigger customers cutting back on their print buying in the early stages of the recession. And I wondered to myself, how did they know that we were going into recession? How did they have that much foresight? So I started thinking about what I'd read, what I'd heard, and I was thinking, well, gee, duh, they're looking at the stock market. When they see the stock market going down day by day by day, they start cutting back on their purchasing. And so I would recommend that you keep an eye on the stock market, and that'll be a good way for you to gauge how the economy is doing, because the stock market is made up of what? Businesses. Okay, what's the first thing you should do when you start making a profit at your company? And I know that you're just hoping that I'm going to say B, to pull all the cash out of your company. But the answer is actually C. You need to establish a marketing budget, because cold calling is great, and door-to-door is great, and talking to friends and family is great, but eventually you're going to need to go out there and do some marketing to bring new business into your company. And the best way to do that, of course, is to advertise. And it's way easier to convert these people who are calling you to order than for you to go try and find them, and then you hit them when they're not really ready to order. So establishing a marketing budget is my number one priority for you when you start making a profit. Okay, in the early years, what should you spend 80% of your time on? The answer is A, sales and marketing. You need to grow your business. Don't get distracted with all the other things that are going on. Make sure that you're focusing on sales and marketing tasks in your business, and spend 80% of your day doing that. The next question is, when should you bill your customer? Weekly, monthly, or every single day? And I learned this from my mentor, Jack Tarr. He said, Mark, billing goes out every day. And so, as a tribute to Jack, I will pass along the same information that he gave to me to you, that you need to bill your customers every single day. Okay, why don't customers pay their bills? That CEO's holding on to money, staff and software changes, or they don't have any money? Which one do you think it is? Well, why wouldn't you pay your bills? Because you don't have any money to pay your bills. And don't forget, you're a vendor. So they're going to pay their employees, their rent, their electricity bill. They're going to pay a lot of bills before they pay their vendors. So the reason why customers don't pay their bills, they don't have any money. So if you don't remember anything else from this class, remember that, please. Okay, what's the best day of the week to follow up on a quote to get the order? Some people think there's a science to this, but really, the answer is all of the above. One of my favorite shows on television is Gold Rush. And one of the guys on there said something I'll never forget. It was funny. He says, "I need this done ASAFP." And so I would say the best day to follow up on an order is as soon as physically possible. I know physically doesn't start with a P, but you know what I mean. All right. Who should you call on a past due invoice? Okay, this is another really biggie one, okay? Should you call your customer directly? Should you call the accounts payable department? Or should you reach out to the owner of the company? Whatever you do, don't talk to the owner of the company. Even when I didn't get paid for 6 months, I did not ever reach out to the owner of the company to collect accounts receivable. Believe me, he knows when he's paying his bills or not. Never contact your customer about accounts payable or receivable for you. You always want to have the best rapport with your client. You never want to talk about anything negative. And all you're going to do if you contact your customer and ask them or tell them you're not getting paid and ask them for a check, etc., is you're going to make them embarrassed. So if the company is big enough to have an accounts payable department, use the normal channels and go through the accounts payable department. Let me tell you how I collect money, because I've been doing it for a long time. Here's what you say. "I'm just calling to see when my invoice is scheduled to be paid." That's all I say. Hello, introduce myself. "I'm just calling to see when my invoice is scheduled to be paid." That's non-threatening. You're just checking to see when it's scheduled to get paid. Okay, moving on. What is the fastest way to go out of business? Late delivery, customer not paying you, or raising your prices? Let's start with raising your prices. Everybody raises their prices. So as long as everything's reasonable, it should be fine. Late delivery, don't let that ever happen. But if you're late to deliver to one customer, you're not going out of business. You might lose one customer, but you're not going to go out of business. But if you have customers that aren't paying you and you're paying your vendors, and all of a sudden you run up a big accounts receivable bill with them and they end up not paying you, I've seen companies go out of business because they didn't get paid by their customers. So B is the answer on that one. So let's talk about the 10-day free marketing training. You need a constant stream of new business coming into your company, and advertising is the best way to do that. And you may be saying, well, why would they give away that marketing training for free? Well, the reason is they want to sell you their marketing software. But they will tell you about training, and it truly is the best training I've seen for 21st century marketing. I use the software, and I recommend the software to you. If it's not in your budget, no problem. Just do the free training. They have a 14-day free trial, and as long as you cancel before the end of the trial, it will cost you nothing. They will ask you for a credit card, but they won't charge it until the free trial is up. There's a link to this training at the bottom of your quiz. Okay, now let's go over the homework. I would like for you to spend 80% of your time selling. That's the biggest thing that you can do. And then also, after work, take the free training. And those are the two things that I think you need to do to be successful. So I wish you the best of luck in your business. I hope it succeeds beyond your wildest expectations. And if you enjoyed this class, I'd appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe so you never miss a class. And I look forward to connecting with you again real soon.